For the regular meeting of the Mayor, Board, and Aldermen on Monday, January 27th, 2020. I'd like Ms. Rosemary to call the roll, please.
Sure. Mayor Hurley is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Blanks.
Here.
Alderperson Berry.
Here.
Blackwell.
Here.
Dunn. Here. Noes.
Here.
Mathis is absent as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 present.
Thank you. This time I'd like Reverend Ricky Way to lead us in the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. If you all stand, please.
Let us pray. Loving God, we praise you and we assemble before you this day. And as we do, we ask your guidance and your watch care upon our city council, upon our city administration, upon our first responders, so that this community may grow and prosper, that we may live in peace and raise our families and be fruitful and productive in your sight. So we ask that you would guide us and direct us as only you can. And this we pray in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. We go through our agenda here. We don't have any commendations or certificates that I know of. No proclamations, awards, or special presentations, even though there's probably some people that need those that are even in this room. Comments from citizens. Do we have anybody here in the audience that's a citizen of Tullahoma around? Yes, if you could come to the podium and state your name and your address, please.
My name is Sandy McKinney. I reside at 231 Jennings Circle, Tullahoma. I'm here on behalf of the Jennings Point Homeowners Association and a homeowner at 207 Jennings Circle. For several months now, our Homeowners Association representative Dixie Waller has been trying to work with City Superintendent John West to rectify a problem regarding a sinkhole in the front yard of 207 Jennings Circle. Prior to the homeowner becoming involved, or the Homeowners Association becoming involved, the homeowner tried on several occasions without results to handle this problem on his own. We became involved at the owner's request. After several emails by our Homeowners Association representative to Mr. West and several other members of this city, of which I have copies, Mr. West ordered that some dirt be brought to fill in the holes. Not enough dirt was brought, and not all the holes were filled. But as soon as the next rain came along, guess what happened? All the dirt was gone, and the hole was bigger than before. The homeowner has photos as proof of this happening. When Mr. West was again contacted, he passed the problem along to Jennifer Moody, who decided, without even coming out to look, that this must be crawdads. Finally, Mr. West agreed that maybe there might be a pipe joint problem, but it was also always too wet for him to be for sure. Maybe they could come out and take a look when it stopped raining, and maybe when the ground dried out. In the meantime, the sinkhole continues to get larger. This homeowner has paid his taxes to this fine city every year. And when this city has been asked to step up, nothing got fixed. The problem is clearly theirs, but you have no time for him. We, as his representatives, would like to see some action taken instead of just excuses. If the city of Tullahoma does not act, and correct this problem in the next 30 days, we, as the homeowners association, will have no recourse but to seek legal action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Ms. Moody, you know anything about this issue? Your name was mentioned.
Yes, it just was brought to my attention last week by Alderman Blackwell. Previously, I didn't know anything about this issue. I did see photos from the homeowner, and I talked with John West about it. And my understanding is they've been out there several times. There's a drainage pipe that runs along the back of these properties. He was reviewing the plat to see if there was a recorded easement, and where exactly the pipe was. But I think just from his visual inspection, these holes are appearing above where the pipe lays. And so there are a couple of possibilities. I did share in that email that Public Works had shared with me that the holes, not all of the holes, they're different size holes that are out there. But some of the holes have mounding of dirt around them that if you Google pictures of crawdad mounds, they look exactly like the photos that the homeowner provided. And Butch Taylor and John West have been out there, and that comment came from them, from their visual inspection on site, that some of these holes could have been made by crawdads, who are also attracted to the water. But John said it's also possible that there are some fractures or holes, and that as water is moving through this pipe, which is draining the entire Jennings Point subdivision, it's a lot of water that pipe is carrying. It could be pulling dirt into it. What he told me is that the ground has been too wet for him to bring a vehicle out there to uncover the pipe, but that as soon as it's dry enough, they're gonna bring a piece of equipment out there, uncover portions of the pipe, see if they can see any failings or holes or a reason that it could be pulling the dirt down. As far as I know, I did ask if there have been any actual damages or any other proof, if they would provide that information to us. Best I can tell, this is all occurring in a drainage easement that's right over a city pipe that we own. I don't think there's any imminent danger other than, you know, if any of these holes get large enough that somebody could step and injure themselves, we need to be concerned with that. But by no means did I see any communication that said we're not going to do something. What I saw was we are going to do something as soon as it's dry enough that we can get a piece of.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain. My yard's still
Yeah.
iffy, so,
It's-
you know,
it's
just,
Can I say
certainly.
something? The danger is.
I need you to state your name and
Oh,
your
my name-
address as well.
My name's Marty Blanchard. I live at 218 Jennings Circle.
Yes.
You know, the danger is on both sides of that pipe, they're kids. Little kids, big kids. And that hole has been coming ever since I've been there 11 years. And some of the holes will go all the way up to your knee. Now, I'd hate to have one of the little kids, the grandkids, and the lady that she said the homeowner was, and then the lady next door, she has 2 kids. They play ball. I mean, you know, the holes are deep, they keep coming. I've never seen a crawdad eat that much sand or dirt. Possible, I've never heard of that. But I think that they need to come out and look. It's been dry at times and they just don't ever come. And when he comes, the last time he came, he just took the leaves off the drain, so it'll drain faster. So, you know, I mean, all he has to do is come in and dig a hole where the thing is, go down and look, see, then have to bring all that equipment in, and then if that's the problem, then we can come on in and let's fix that. That's all we got, but there is kids there, young kids in between, not both sides.
Well, we'll do our best to get this rectified. I know it's aggravating, especially if you feel like it's
Well,
been
it's
bad
kids, you know, they're worried about the kids, and the lady, her lawnmower fell in a hole to cut the grass. And the lawnmower could have landed on her, cut her legs off, arms. I mean, it's a serious situation.
And again, this is the first time that we're being made aware of it, or at least the first that I've heard of it. No one has called the city manager's office.
Oh, no.
You're welcome to provide evidence of that, and I can as well. No
Emails
one has
from you.
contacted me. So again, I hear your concern. but it's really difficult to address problems that we don't know about. And now that you're raising it, as I've said, every communication that I have, they've said they will address it.
Yeah, Alderman Berry was at my house and we talked about it then too, so it's been, what, 2 months, 3 months?
And there's, even if the city, and this is not just for you, this is for any property owner in Tullahoma, just because the city has an easement does not mean that you are prohibited from acting. On your property, you're welcome to put up signs that say, caution, hole, cover the hole with a piece of wood, or whatever you need to do to make it safe. There's
They've
nothing
done
that
it,
prohibits
they've
you
thrown
from
rocks
that.
in it. Rocks, and I know Crawdad won't eat a rock. So when you say the Crawdad situation, that don't fly with me, it may fly with other people, but not me. I mean, it's water removing the dirt away from the area, so.
Well,
Okay.
we'll look into it, try to
Okay.
get a resolution.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to the board.
Okay.
All right, now it's time for reports from the members, my colleagues here. We usually start over here, but I'm gonna change it up and start with
Yeah.
my colleague, Mr. Honorable Ray Nolis.
Well, thank you for that honor, Mayor Pro Tem.
You're welcome.
Last week, I attended the planning session for the TAEDC, the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Commission, and we worked on reviewing their strategic plan. We spent a 2-hour session, and we'll be doing some updates and enhancements to that strategic plan. Then on Friday of this past week, along with Ms. Moody and Jason and our TAEDC President, Executive Director Tom Robinson, we attended a session in Lawrenceburg hosted by the Area Economic Development Commission. And the idea was to enhance aid municipalities in enhancing economic development. So that was a very productive meeting as well. That concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nolis. Alderman Dunn, tell us what you know.
Well, we've got several things going on. We have a rain garden that we're putting in at East Lincoln, so we're starting to get the details sort of worked out on that. So we've got a couple of master gardeners coming up with different list of plants for that. I'm pretty excited, so if anybody's interested in being, literally getting dirty with the rain garden, we could use some volunteers on that. Also volunteers, do you remember, Jimmy, the hostess parties? Did you ever do with Tupperware? Did you ever
Me?
Yeah.
No, my grandmother sold Stanley though. She did
Okay.
parties, so I get it.
Okay, well, we're having a compostess hostess party. So we're having in different neighborhoods, and if anybody would like to do these are part of our grant with ISWA. So these are provided free to people in the community. So if you would like to host a hostess or host party, we would love to have you. We're trying to get more people involved, and we feel like if your neighbor's doing it, then you're more likely to do it, and sort of, so we're really excited about that. We've got a couple of people already signed up for that. Thanks, Alderman Blackwell. And we've got Earth Day is coming up on April 20th. That's going to be a Monday. We are partnering with the Farmers Market. And so if anybody has a green-oriented business and they would like to be involved with that, please let me know. Also, one more event that is not city-sponsored, and I want to make sure that that's clear. This is not a city-sponsored event. Is the TEDx Tullahoma, which is at UTSI, and I'm very excited about that. The speakers that we have lined up for that it's going to be a wonderful event. But if you are looking to sponsor, if you're a business that would like to sponsor that, we would love to have you. And of course, we've got the tickets will be going on sale in the next couple of weeks. But that's all we've got right now. So
Thank
thanks.
you. Nice report. Alderman Blackwell.
Yeah. So since our last meeting, we've had the planning commission meeting, which for all y'all who saw the newspaper, Hibbets is going to be, we approved, I guess, a site plan for Hibbets, which will be moving to right next to Joanne. So that was exciting and good for them. We had a tourism council meeting where we've been working on a rack card to put out at I know Winston's been working really, really hard on this and organizing all the different nonprofits and organizations around the area and businesses to showcase Tullahoma. The school board approved their calendar. For anybody who hasn't seen that yet, it's online. Have a look. I've also been wanted to, before I go into one other thing, give a big congratulations. I don't know if y'all saw last night, but we have a Grammy Award winner from Tullahoma. Craig Terry won a Grammy. I think it's the best solo classical album.
Pianist.
Yeah, he's a pianist. Yeah, and he's like 3 years older than my sister. So yeah, awesome, right? So really, really exciting, and you know, he's fabulous.
Miss Mahaffey acolyte, probably.
I'm sure. She taught me too.
I took it from
She
her,
still
but
teaches.
does she?
Yeah.
I would just drink orange juice and didn't practice.
Oh, she threatened to tie my legs to the bench because I used the pedal way too much. She was tough. She's tough. She's good. And then the last thing I had was the Domestic Violence Task Force that I'm sitting on, which is a very interesting group. And the goal is to do case studies in the area of different cases that have happened and kind of propose what would be able to work to kind of mitigate the violence. And one of the things that we were talking about was talking to students about healthy relationships. So I had a meeting with the middle school counselors, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'll be able to bring Haven of Hope in there to talk to them about what looks like a good relationship with friendships as well as dating. So if they're dating, some of them aren't, so we're just going to talk about friendships. So, but that's something that I'm pretty excited about. So that's all I got.
Thank you, good report. Alderman Berry.
Since our last meeting, I've failed to get my hair cut again. As my mother said, if you're going to be on TV, you need to do. So we'll add that to the checklist for next time. Want to remind people that February 3rd is the last day to register to vote for the March 3rd elections. These are some pretty big coming up. Also, the Downtown Council, pretty exciting stuff. They're doing, have kind of a grand reopening introduction in early May, correct? I won't go into much more detail than that because they got some surprises and some neat stuff they're going to be doing to our downtown area as part of this effort that Winston and Shelley Smith have, and a lot of others have put a lot of hard work in. The last 3 weeks, I've been meeting with as many nonprofit organizations and some of the churches that I can here around town, and just kind of sitting down with them to understand what each of them do, how each of them aid different areas of the community as part of an effort that I'm trying to work on to help look for ways to address the some minor issues and just work better and form better relationships there, which we already have some incredible relationships. Had a great meeting with Alderman Blackwell, Dr. Duncan, and Scott Hargrove on some stuff at the school and their efforts and what they're doing, some great resource guides and stuff that we can help push out to the community. And non-city related, have put together a judicial candidate forum February 6th at 6 o'clock at the Justice Center in Manchester. All 4 candidates are going to participate. It's not a debate. It'll be kept at an hour and just kind of question and answer. But just an opportunity to get to meet them. They're really, I think, the only contested race. Everything else, I think everybody else is just uncontested. So that is it, sir.
Thank you for your report, appreciate that. I don't have a lot to report, but I'll tell you what I do have. Been to a TUA meeting the last 2 or 3 weeks. Everything's going well there. We're like plus 19 for last month on light tube sign up, so we're approaching 4,000, which was wonderful. 3,000 was our initial goal, so we've surpassed that and we keep going. Light tube subscriptions are increasing, you know, cable is probably going down, and I think that'll just keep going that way. I think everybody will eventually get their entertainment through internet probably. There's still some old school people that, you know, want to watch the news channels out of Nashville and can't pick it up with an antenna. Also had a DRUC meeting. We're keeping your water clean. We're keeping it affordable. Everything's going well there. Mr. Breaker does a great job. You know, only thing else I would add to that is, you know, shop locally if possible. We appreciate your tax dollars. Also had a good report from Sue on our financial side that came last week, so kudos to her. That's all I have, and now we will turn it over to the city attorney. Do we have a report from Mr. Washington?
It's a very short report that I have tonight. Tonight, Mayor Pro Tem just signed an agreement with Joe Denby, a builder here in town, to build a 13-unit planned unit development on West Lincoln Street, which is beginning toward providing some more housing in our town, affordable housing that we sorely need. And there are other things that we're looking at now in the development stage that I think are going to be very beneficial to our city in the future. Other than that, we're working on routine things as always, and beginning to prepare for the filing of the suits for the 2018 delinquent taxes.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have a report from our city administrator, Mrs. Moody.
Yes, I'll give you an update on a few things. I attended Project Voice, the conference in Chattanooga with Tom Robinson, and we made a number of potential contacts that could help with some of the projects we're trying to align with the automotive industry and UTSI. And the founder of that conference is very interested in Tullahoma and what we have going on here, and will be in town Wednesday to visit with us, and we'll tour him around and let you know what comes of that. Also attended another workshop, third of 4 workshops with Tennessee ECD and our Main Street and our South Central Tennessee Development District, continuing to get training on how best to create this supportive ecosystem for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Alderman Noes was there. We learned a lot about training resources that we could bring from the state to Tullahoma, and we'll probably be looking to do an event with them in the spring, I would think. They have some really, really cool tour buses and technology that they can bring down and kind of create an event around that. Also, attended the TUA board meeting, as you know, and spoke with the board about a new USDA loan and grant program where the city could be the recipient of some grant funds through the utility board, and that would allow us to construct new hangars out at the airport. And so we're just continuing to look for ways that we can assist XP Services with their business expansion by providing 2 new hangars for them to lease. And we've been pretty successful with grants. We have one more that that's pending, we're waiting to hear back from. But we have already successfully received a TDOT grant to support the project and a USDA small grant. So more to come on that. Unfortunately, we did receive notice that we are not going to be awarded by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee Healthy Places. And that was the foundation that we were hoping to get a significant amount of funding to build out the entire master plan for the park that's East Park at Silver Street and Freeman Street. And so it's disappointing. We're gonna still follow up and try to get specific information from them. They did encourage us to reapply in the next round, which is in August. And we'll do everything we can to find out where our weaknesses were and reapply and move forward with phase 1, which will be lit basketball courts and a nice pedestrian connection from the apartments surrounding it to the facility. So keep moving forward with that. And then if I can, I just wanted to share with you some background on a couple items that are on your consent agenda. The first is you will be authorizing a community development block grant application. And then on new business, there's also a resolution to support that. That's because this application requires a formal resolution from the board to go in the application packet. We are applying for $200,000, we're asking for $200,000 in support that we would like to use to remove some, these would be vacant, unoccupied, unsafe structures, dilapidated structures in the community. And what that does is it creates clean lots that are buildable lots where infill of single-family housing can occur. And the most important thing I think people want to know, this program is a voluntary program where we would be partnering with the property owners. We are not looking to acquire properties, but partner with some property owners who most likely don't have the means to remove these structures themselves. And we actually don't have the budget funds to do it. We have a very small budget, I think approximately $5,000 that we set aside to do mowing and address any kind of code violations that owners don't take care of themselves. So as you can imagine, one demolition could eat up the entire year's budget. So we've identified a list of about 30 structures that we think would be eligible for the program, and this funding would easily cover about 20. So we're just something we'd like to get started, and it fits well with another program that we already have, that's the home grant program from the Tennessee Housing Development Agency. We have a $500,000 grant program where we are helping homeowners rehabilitate their homes, make repairs, and stay in their home. So I think this is a good neighborhood revitalization program to couple the two together. So we're excited about that. And then the next item, you have a couple of professional service agreements, and I just wanted to explain why there's two. We want to give our applicants an option of choosing between the two companies. So Safe Build and Municipal Inspection Services, they both will work directly with the applicants, and the applicant can discuss pricing, timelines. You know, maybe there's one company that can do it faster, they're free to choose, or maybe they do many projects with the city and they just start to prefer one. We wanted to have not only two so that we have a backup in case volume gets too much for one firm, but also to give people a choice. So, and if there are any other firms that are qualified to do this work in the future, we could certainly add them to the list and have even more qualified firms. The other thing to let you know is they are going to be doing only commercial, so multifamily and non-residential plans review. And I'm actually with the police department going through one of these firms to review the plans for the police department. So I'm seeing firsthand what their comments look like and what the process looks like. And so far, they have been able to review the plans much more quickly than our current staff of one inspector would be able to do. And that's the purpose. We're trying to expedite our services, get plans review done faster, and free up our inspectors to do more inspections more timely.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
The last item, we're announcing the vacancy. This is really just for the public to make them more aware as much as we can that the county is looking for a Tullahoma resident to fill a vacancy on the Public Building Authority. While we are not responsible, or you are not responsible for filling that vacancy, we just wanted to do all that we could to promote that and have Tullahoma residents apply. Okay.
All right, thank you. Back to something we're talking about, utilizing them for the police station. I noticed we have started some action on that. I don't know if they've officially broken ground, but they have some fencing up and they're getting ready to pull the trigger on that. So after a couple of years of that being worked on, or even longer, thought about for a long time, we're getting ready to start on the police station, the new police station.
You're right. They haven't officially broken ground, but they're preparing. They put their construction trailer in place. They're putting the fencing in place. I went today and visited all our neighbors, the furniture and our householder Artman neighbors, to talk about what's happening with the parking lot and how we're gonna address parking during this construction. What I thought we would do is let them get started, and they're gonna start with grading work, and you've also seen some utility work. TUA's been a great partner in going ahead and moving their lines out of the way. But I thought we'd let them go ahead and get started, and then a little further into the spring, we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony and get out there with hard hats and shovels and take pictures.
Turn over some ground.
Yeah, turn over some ground.
Thank you, Ms. Moody. So next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. These are non-controversial items that we will take up as one agenda item that we'll vote on. Number one is item number 20-06, minutes of the January 13th, 2019 regular meeting. Number two, item number 20-07, December financial report. Item three, number 20.08, approve and authorize the mayor to sign an application to the Community Development Block Grant Program for $200,000 in funding with a total project cost of $244,000 to assist with neighborhood stabilization and revitalization projects. 4, item number 20-09, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a professional service agreement with Safe Built LLC and Municipal Inspection Services LLC to provide third-party plan review services to support the Planning and Codes Department. And 5, item 20-10, announce a vacancy on the Coffee County Public Building Authority for a qualified Tullahoma resident to be appointed by the county mayor. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Ray was
First.
Ruth,
But can we change 2019 to 2020 on one?
Good catch.
Oh, I see. So we have the motion by Noah's
Noah, second by Alderman Blackwell, and
with the correction.
with the correction.
Thank you.
All in favor? Push this little green button or red button if you don't approve. All right, it did. It passed. All green except 2 people are not here. Oh,
It's okay,
you got it?
yes.
I'm not, I can nearly reach over there.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is new business. We have one item of new business, resolution number 1820, is approve a resolution supporting a grant application to the Community Development Block Grant Program of the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development for $200,000 to support neighborhood stabilization and revitalization projects.
Move to approve.
Second.
We've got a proper motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Ms. Moody went over this a little bit beforehand. All in favor? Green is yes, red is no. Unanimous. Do we have any other new business tonight to come before the board?
No, we don't.
Good. We're going to adjourn and go, if there's no objections, going into the beer board meeting. Do you have any public comments for any beer drinkers? No. Don't have a lot here. We got the consent agenda, which is the minutes of our last meeting. That also needs to be January 13th, 2020.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Seeing that we have no other old business, we go into new business, and do we have any new business to come before the beer board tonight? Good deal. I move for an adjournment.
Second.
Ding dong. I don't know if it's a world record.